No, now I think we're starting. I think it's starting. We'll see. I still can't see you yet because it's loading.
Oh,
Done, redirecting. Okay.
the live on Facebook. That's great.
Yeah. We will just see how this all works. Okay, we are live on Facebook.
Yo, it works.
I can see down, I cannot see your hands. Now I see your hand. Yeah, I see down the like almost to the bottom of your braids, almost.
Okay, because my drink is over here, so I was just putting that out the way.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
Not liquor, it is water and lemon. It's okay.
I don't want to watch the
It's working on this side.
Okay. I think we're still live. It was showing me video from before. So I'm just wanting to make sure that it didn't, can you hear me?
Yeah, it says live on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Hi, Jay. I hope your day is better today. Now, see, I'm getting like my video is a delay on my end of things. That's weird. I see you're making faces. Are you making faces at me right now?
No.
Oh, that was before. What in the world? Okay, hold on.
I wasn't making faces. That might be just my natural animation. I'm like that.
Well, it's telling me we're live now, but I'm seeing like video from before. So I don't know what's going on. But anyways, yeah, we're live. Thank you, everyone. We're trying this a new way. I wanted to make sure that I got Danya on. I can't see myself. So if I'm making weird faces, it is what it is. Hi, Alexis. Woo woo. Alexis in the house. Alexis is my boy out of Florida. So anyways, yeah, I wanted to make sure I brought Danya on tonight because we had such a good conversation about our topic last week. And I was like, I have to get her on. And so in the past, when we've tried to get each other on our Facebook lives or our Instagram lives, the audio gets all crazy. And so today we are trying this for the first time. We are Zooming live on Facebook. So, woo, all right. We'll see how this goes. Hey, David, welcome to the call. Thank you, everybody. It is Woke Wednesday. So anybody notice what song I was playing on my advertisement today? If you happen to catch that on my story, did anybody notice what the song was? Level up, level up. Yeah, so Sierra, level up. So that is our topic tonight. So yes, the first thing I want you to do is close your eyes because we've got to do this for Woke Wednesday. As you know, close your eyes. And I just want you to envision living your best life, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not even going to guide you on this. Just envision you living your best life. Give that a minute. So hopefully some of you are having the opportunity. I bet Alexis is living his best life to some extent right now. But we want to talk today about leveling up. And actually, Danya is the one that kind of got me started on this last week. We were just having one of our chats like we have. And every time we have a chat with each other, we both walk out of it like so inspired. So Danya, what's kind of your take on level up?
You know, thanks for asking. I had to come out of thinking about my best life because like a whole bunch of things just flashed before my eyes. And before we got on live, I was, my birthday is coming up and I thought I was going to be on a yacht this weekend, like real talk, like I thought that was going to happen. So I was imagining the yacht and all of
that. You're like, that was supposed to be my best life this weekend. Yes.
Right, but let me get back to the live where we are right now. I love when you do your close your eyes because you can never overdo that. Envisioning and feeling what you desire your life to be is so important and so super powerful. And when we actually not just write it down and think it, when we actually feel what that feels like. That's how we connect to the manifestation of it. So when you're talking about leveling up, level up, I'm singing it. Man, it's a big deal. It could cost you a lot in a good way. And I have so many things to say. I'm not really sure where I'd like to start to answer.
All right. So let's talk about, because you can level up in all sorts of different areas of your life, right? Definitely level up in your career or your job, your business, whatever that is. Most people probably want to level up. I don't know a lot of people who are like, well, I'm just cool just staying right here where I'm at for the rest of my life. That's kind of a mentality of old. I work at a workforce center, and I have to tell people all the time that that idea of getting in a job and staying in a job until you retire, that's gone. So with your career, you might want to level up. You might want to level up in your relationships, whether that's with a significant other, with your children, with your parents, with your whoever, your friendships. You can level up in those areas. You can definitely level up just in the fun of your life. So I want you to think, everybody just kind of think, I won't make you close your eyes this time, but think, when was the last time you went out and did something just special and fun? And if that was like months ago, if that was before COVID, if that was last year, if that was 5 years ago, you're missing out, right? So you might want to level up on that area of your life. I know Danya and I have both talked about this in the past, the fitness, the nutrition, taking care of yourself, leveling up on that, your mindset. And to me, this is such a big one. Your mindset, your motivation to do things, you have to level up on that.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about what that costs. Okay, so you said it so eloquently, like it's just so easy, right? Like,
no.
You know, doing some of the things that you've been through, that you have paid the price to level up, and it might have cost you a little bit. Now, that could be a whole plethora of things for you. So I'm going to talk about myself. So leveling up for me, one was making the decision to do so. That part was actually easier than the activity that had to follow, right? So when I began to level up and think outside the box and actually go towards those things I imagined and I believed, I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of, I lost family. Let's just be real about this, because they couldn't see my dream. They could not feel what I was feeling. They didn't understand where this extra thinking was going. And I don't think that they meant it in any harm. It's just that their own box. They were in their own life. This is what they do. This is what they've been doing. This is how they saw their life. And since I was a little kid, I always saw, we talk about this, sunshine, rainbows, yachts, extra things, doing other things. Throughout this quarantine, I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies, right? I was watching the old school lifestyles of the rich and famous. I was watching the Travel Channel, World Channel, all this stuff, right? And I realized when I was a kid back in the 70s and 80s and all that, I really was dreaming of those things, and now I am living them, right?
Nice.
But it came with some financial hits also, leveling up, going to this place, going back down, going to this place, and then leveling up from there. There was a lot of significant change that came with me leveling up as an individual, a lot more reading, a lot more intentional watching, documentaries, understanding, audiobooks, putting myself around people that I wanted to, I'm going to change the word want, I don't like that word, that I to be like. So I started putting in myself in situations where people were doing what I wanted to do, that were making, that were living, that were traveling, that were going on yachts, that were traveling the world. And so that was a big deal for me to just step outside of the environment that I was in and make those choices to level up.
And you touched on a few things that I think are so important, because the people you surround yourself with, are the people you're surrounding yourself more aligned with the future that you want to get to, or with your past? And like you said, sometimes that costs you, relationships, but you have to be willing, if you're really dedicated to living this best life that I had you envision, if you're really dedicated to that, you have to understand that it will cost you something. And one of the things that when Danya and I were kind of talking about this last week, it was kind of funny because I brought up video games. So if any of y'all are video gamers, this is gonna hit you because this is gonna make some sense. Anybody who's ever played video games. So Danya, what was your favorite video game as a kid?
Yo, I remember this. I loved, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, not just Pac-Man, Miss
yeah.
Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man. Yeah, that's so funny because one time,
Centipede. Oh my.
When you're Jordan, and since you clarified the Miss Pac-Man, when you're Jordan, for Halloween, she said she wanted to be Mr. Incredible, and I said, so you want to be Elastigirl? And she was like, no, I want to be Mr. Incredible, and she was Mr. Incredible, I tell you. So it's just a funny thing that you brought that up.
Back then.
Yeah, my favorites were Super Mario Brothers and Frogger. And but yeah, Frogger, make it across the street, right? I'm not so fond of the frogs when they're in my yard. But so here's the thing. With video games, if you've ever played video games, you know with every level that you go up, there are going to be new challenges. There are going to be new kind of activities that you have to do. And guess what? When you're a kid or an adult, let's be real, some people are adults doing this. As an adult, you want to level up. So you spend your time trying to beat that next level. You put time and effort into it. Some people get into like figuring out what the codes are so you can cheat the game. I don't want to call it cheating necessarily, because I mean, even learning the codes is somewhat, of a bit of a shift in your mindset. But at the same point, like you put in work to level up on a video game. But so many people will give up so quickly on leveling up for themselves. They might come across a new challenge. Like you said, you lost some relationships in your life. So have I. You have taken some financial hits. Likewise, right? You have some challenges, and so often people will just quit based on that. And so one of the things that I wanted to bring up as well is, as with leveling up, you have to level up your faith. You have to have complete, like Danya was saying, as far as your mindset, you have to have complete faith that this is where you're going, this is what you're doing, and that you're going to win at whatever cost. Right. And so it's kind of interesting because last week when we were talking about this, when we were talking about just faith, and I brought up, if you've read the Bible, you might remember this story from the book of Daniel, but the 3 young men that went into the fire, they were told to go into this fire. They were being punished. And so what is it? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And so they were put into this fire. And the king said, when he sent 3 people into the fire, but he said he saw 4 people walk in there. And when those young men walked out, they were unscathed. And that all just had to do with faith, right? We have to go into trying to get this best version of ourselves, of our lives. We have to go into it with that kind of faith that we know we're going to come out on top no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. I want to expand on that a little bit because I just did a podcast and I actually talked about something, and I saw the word, we were talking about faith, and I was bringing that up because I'm a faith jumper, okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it is enough just to have faith, okay? So this might sound a little raw to some people, but, have faith, baby. Just wait and have faith. Just have faith. Well, I wasn't seeing a lot of results just by having faith. I don't really believe in the word waiting. We can replace that word with still. We can replace it with a lot of different things, but waiting might equate to waiting. You can relate to this, looking for a job. If you say I'm looking for a job and you keep looking for a job, then that's all you'll be doing is looking for a job. However, say I am searching, I am securing, I am finding work, a job, a career that changes. So back to this word faith, right? So yes. What is amazing, you have to have, just like you said, Erin, absolute faith. Not pretend faith, not hope faith, not fake faith. You have to have absolute faith. And you know where that absolute faith comes in is just knowing we are worth it, knowing we are created for abundance, knowing it is our birthright to have these things. But the word practice, faith in practice. And the first three letters of practice is P-R-A, pray. I saw the totally different way. And then if you put the next three letters, blend them together, it's act, A-C-T.
Mm.
And act. Be active in your faith. Make sure that you're having it with absolute fearlessness and knowing, because if you know God and you know the power of creating, power of the creator of the universe, power of manifesting, putting faith in practice really, really is the key. And that means we don't always see what's on the other side.
I love that. I love that you broke out the word like that for pray and act. That's amazing. I'll even throw in the last three letters, ice, right?
Woo!
Because you have to have ice in your veins. You have to know I'm going to go do it. I'm going to you can't care about what everybody else thinks and what everybody else is saying to you. You are put, here for this purpose. And when you're working towards that purpose, you can't listen to what everybody else is saying, right? So yeah, nice. I like that.
Comfortable. It's not always beaches and sunshine. That ice gets cold. You're gonna need layers of coats. I'm from Colorado. My Colorado home team. I love y'all. I have to have some coats, some layers, in order to steps. And it's not just about you. It has to be more than about you. For you first, because we're created to do amazing things. And when we're good, everyone else is good. But you have to think. We talked about this so many times about our kids, our children, our family, the next generations to come. Yes, we're here to live an amazing life and to pursue our purpose. Yet the end game is for each generation to be better, to be taken care of. Look at your adorable pup in the back.
Yeah.
I just want to hug her. So cute.
Lazy.
It is for generations, to leave a legacy. And a part of my legacy has began with just knowledge, awakening, consciousness, awareness in my children, and them being in the knowing in a new and enlightened way than I was. And no disrespect to how I grew up, but that's just how I grew up. We talked about this too. I had an amazing childhood, yet we're here to evolve and expand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so important. And that legacy is such a big thing, because we should, I think I've told people for years, that one thing I can say that I'm great at is being a mom. Now, as she's grown into a teenager, I question that sometimes, but I've always said I'm an amazing mom. I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing with that. But you know what? I've been challenged this last 2 years, 1 year, a year and a half or so, to really look at that, because what am I teaching her is not the legacy that I want to leave behind. I want her to have a bigger vision in her head. Like I never had a bigger vision in my head, right? Like you said, I did have a bigger vision as a young child. I had somebody post the other day, like, if you would be doing what you wanted to do when you were a kid, what would you be doing? And I was like, I would be an Olympic gymnast, because that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. But the idea is to get our kids to understand that they can have that bigger life. And so I know that Danya has her programs that work with people on what we talked about as far as wanting to level up in your career, whether that's because it might be, hey, you could be a six-figure, high earner, but you're just not happy. You're not fulfilled. Or you could be somebody who's, paycheck to paycheck, and you're not only are you not happy, but you're like really struggling to get through. So Danya has her amazing programs to help people level up in their career.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. Yes, it's not just about being broke. Like you said, it's life change, it's empty nesters, it's any challenge. And if you feel blocked for any reason, this could be emotionally, this could be financially. Really, money is never the issue. So anyone out there who is listening right now, money is not your problem. It is not the problem. It is not the problem. It is your mindset. It's your thinking. It's healing. Some of these things you need to even discover before you begin looking for the new work Let's talk about relationships before. Well, no, let's get down to that one next. Let's make sure we talk about people and women leveling up in relationships. So remind me of that one.
Okay.
But I
Yes.
would like this question throughout my programs, and I really appreciate you working with me on my unemployment program because you're an expert in that area. So many people just don't know where to begin, whether it's they have money and they're unhappy or they don't have money and they're unhappy. They just need to
Right.
get to what they're meant to do, and that's why they're called the MENT programs, because when you're in those programs, you start doing what you're meant to do, you begin to feel fulfilled, you begin to
Right.
feel like other people, you're of service, and that drives love and light and positivity and expansion and experiences. And it's a really beautiful place to be. And I speak from experience on that. But I would like to ask you, what do you believe is the reason why people don't truly level up? Like, do you think it's expectations from others? Do you think it is a money block? Why do you think people hesitate in actually doing the work and shifting their mindset and leveling up?
There's so many parts to that because I think some of it is worrying about what other people think. And like I said earlier, you really can't worry. You have to have ice in your veins. You cannot worry about what other people think. If you are on the path that you know is going to lead to your fulfillment, then you can't, and what you're meant to do, then you cannot worry about what other people think. You have to stay the course. There's naturally going to be people who are going to doubt you. I believe they're put there for a purpose to do that, because I believe that the idea is to get you so strong in your conviction that this is what you're meant to do, that you have to push through that discomfort. I think the discomfort of so much of it is part of it, because if I have to level up my mindset, that means I have to admit that there's something wrong with my mindset. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. It's very similar. So we will talk about the relationships, but I even think with relationships, part of what people need to level up on is taking responsibility and understanding, okay, so many people always want to put the blame on the other person, whether that's, oh, my parents raised me wrong, or, oh, my spouse is, driving me crazy. They're doing this, that, or the other. We know we don't have control over what other people do, but what we do have control over is what we do. And so if people would just look at leveling up in that sense of, let me take accountability and let me look at how I can do things differently. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. So if we are constantly striving to be the best version of ourselves and bring the best version of ourselves to work or our career, I don't want to say work because work to me is bleh. But to our career, what we're meant to be doing, if we bring that best version of ourselves, that enlightened version, the version that is willing to learn and say, you know what? Maybe I could do this differently. Maybe our relationship would be transformed if I just look at the way I'm doing this, right? I look at some of my friends who have been married for, 10, 15, 20 years. And as I talk to them, the ones that are still in love, and I know that they're still in love, as I talk to them, I listen to them really talk about things that they've had to learn about how to adjust their behavior and their thoughts over the years. And I love that because I think that that's so important. So yeah, I think between worrying about other people and just the idea of, leveling up is hard. I don't think Danya or I are going to sit here and tell you leveling up is easy. It's not. It's going to be difficult, but I guarantee you it'll be worth it. If you're living that life that you just envisioned, it'll be worth it.
It is so worth it. And it's where we're meant to live and be and see and feel. It's not just for other people. We're not in this just watching this movie and it's all for other people to have the money and other people to go traveling, other people to be happy and in love and having amazing kids. That's not just for everyone else. That's for us, right?
Right.
Worthiness part in you has to be healed so that you remember and remind yourself like, oh, shoot, that's me. I can have that. I can live that. I can be that. It's so super important. And just to tag on to what you said, super powerful. I believe that people are afraid to make mistakes and fail. You're at your job and you're just so good at it and you know what you're doing and this is what you do, and you come home and you get on the couch and you have a beer and you watch TV, or you have a glass of wine and you watch TV. Like you just know what you're doing, or you're playing the video games. I'm gonna leave that right there. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. You're playing the video games. what your day looks like. And then before you know it, you're 40, 50, 60, 70, and there's so much life to be lived, right?
Yes.
Challenge like exercising. Everybody knows I dislike it a lot. Leveling up in that, it's kind of painful for me, right? But I'm thinking about how I want to feel when I'm 50, how I want to feel when I'm 60. What do I want to be doing? Do I want to be going on hikes and all of that? And I have made a ton of mistakes in this leveling up. So I would like to also say to whoever is watching this, I talk about this in my consultations and classes and just with family and friends. Oh, I've messed up some things. Okay. I've messed up some things. And when I say that, my perspective had to change. I had to completely eliminate judgment. Yeah, I don't really judge. Every now and then it can kind of creep in, right? Looking at other people's lives, making judgments on financial situations, whatever, it can kind of creep in. I had to completely delete that. So I've made mistakes, and I believe that people are afraid to fail in front of other people because of expectation. And I believe that they are afraid to make mistakes. And anyone who has done great and anyone who is doing amazing from the outside in has really mucked up some things in their life. And it's really okay to do that. This is a journey. This is an experience. We're allowed to make mistakes on our way to enjoying our life now and to that life that we are looking forward to feeling.
Agreed. And you know what? If people would just look at examples that we have, whether it's politicians, whether it's celebrities, athletes, maybe, entrepreneurs or business leaders, all of them have failed, right? And all of them have said that they learned through their failure. So none of them look at failure as a bad thing. It's interesting because I know my daughter, as a basketball player, it drives me crazy, but that's always her biggest concern. What if I mess up and people see me mess up? And I'm like, oh, well, right? Everybody messes up. Steph Curry messes up. Michael Jordan messed up. Everybody messes up. So it's a matter of getting over that and understanding that in every failure, there is a lesson. And actually, the only way you can truly fail is if you either don't do anything at all, or if you fail to get the lesson out of that failure. If you are just like, okay, well, I failed, so I'm done, I quit now, then you failed.
Yeah, remember we were talking about this in our last conversation. I'd rather risk everything,
Yes.
everything than nothing for nothing.
I love that.
We have to do that. And so I was looking at LinkedIn, and this tags on to right what you're talking about right now. This guy had applied to a large law firm in 2002, and he posted his letter on LinkedIn. And now it's 2020, and he is a partner at that company, and the company denied him. They said, we look at your resume, you're not a fit for us right now, in 2002, and he did not give up. It's 2020, and over the years, he was hired with them and moved into being partner. So I tell people all the time, go think within, revisit where you've been. Just because it wasn't for that specific time, whether it be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be work, it could be a career, it can be a hobby, it can be anything. Think back to what those things are and try them again.
Right.
Go, you never know, the space and time and the universe and everything is in divine timing may open up for you. So go revisit those and don't look back at that. I tried. Look at it in a different way, as an opportunity to revisit what you really love and what you feel like you really should be doing. There is like gold, like at the end of the rainbow type gold there, but real stuff you can actually feel and touch.
Absolutely. If somebody Googles how many times did Benjamin Franklin fail, Google it, right? You're gonna find out that he failed like hundreds of times before he was successful. Like I said, anybody that you look to as kind of a pillar of success has failed. And so that's so important. Now, Danya, you mentioned that you wanted to talk a little bit more about leveling up in relationships.
Yeah, I do. You want to talk about it?
Hey, you're going to talk about it and I'm going to pitch in because I know where you're going with this and we have the same idea.
Because normally we're in sync just like this, but I might switch it up because some thoughts just came to me.
Okay.
You put a post up when everybody was doing the challenge yesterday, and I challenged you, and then you challenged your friends, and I kind of liked this challenge. But I woke up this morning thinking that's a great Facebook, Instagram, social media challenge. That's great. It's empowering. I saw beautiful women of all kinds of diversity backgrounds and all this posting, like from celebrities to regular people. I think everybody's a celebrity if you want to call yourself that. I don't look at them as on this level like I used to from afar. And I thought that was really great. And then I stopped and I read yours, which is the more lengthy one than I've read the other people. They weren't just, you didn't just accept the challenge. You wrote like a whole blog. And I loved it because you said how you have felt about this woman, and people, whoever needs to go check it out on her Facebook and Instagram page about what she wrote. But you said you had failed in partnerships too. And that is the biggest one that kind of stuck out at me, because I have too. Like, perhaps I was a little overzealous. Perhaps it was a little bit too forward thinking. And perhaps I could have been a little bit more patient to bring that person with me, because I'm always here. Like, you don't know what it is. And I have, let me say this on record, I have absolutely no regrets about my past. None. I respect them all. I've forgiven them all. And I have gratitude for them all. Okay. Even in my own failures in those partnerships. But what I realized since I've been single for a decent amount of time is that leveling up, and with us, when we are leveling up, our perspective and who we attract shifts and changes, right? So
Yes.
I know a lot of women who, you know, just work a regular job and just, you know, maybe take care of their kids, and they're really simple-minded, yet expect their man to be a king, expect their man to have a six-pack, expect their man to be able to, I'm down with the six-pack, expect their man to, you know, wash the car and do the lawn and open the doors and be this perfect person inside out, spiritually, mentally, physically, the provider. I could go on and on. You get what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Expectation, and that word is dangerous. The expectation
Yes, it is
very dangerous. Yet what are they doing? Like, you're uncomfortable with how your size is. I don't believe there's too fat, too small, too thin, whatever. I believe the best size for you is the one that you're comfortable and confident and worthy in, right? But then they complain about certain things, but they're not working out. They're not taking, not leveling up. They're not reading. They're not, you know, reaching out for their goals and their purpose. And my whole thought about this, and just throw this whole one thing, you know, when you get married, like, we are one thing that happens at the altar. So, I don't believe in it the same way, because I believe you have to be full of care of how you go into oneness. Okay, we are one with God, right? I don't believe it means giving up your soul and yourself, like we talked about. It never says in the Bible or any written thing that says, be with someone and give up your entire self. Be with someone and forget your hobbies. Be one with someone and forget what you like, what you love, what you are on this earth to do, what you're created for, who you're created to be of service to, who you're created to make smile, who you're created to touch, reach, help, build, whatever it is. It does not say that. And this is likely why I'm not married, because I don't believe in selling my soul at the altar for the greater of everybody else. I believe in that you can become one with God in love and in spirit, but it is your responsibility for each person in that partnership, that relationship, that marriage, to become who they're meant to be. And that is combined in partnership. And so it's worth being single to meet that person who understands that and who's working on himself wherever he's at in the universe. He's working on himself. He's working on being better, and he understands and feels that I'm here somewhere. I believe we can feel people in spirit and all that. We won't go in that conversation today. Yet I believe we women, I believe men too, but I can speak for myself, have to take the responsibility in who we are created to be, to level up. And that means incrementally. It doesn't mean building a house in a day. It doesn't mean doing the whole garden in a day and reading 18,000 self-help books. It means one action, one thought, maybe one chapter, one audio book, one smile, one conversation at a time.
Absolutely, 100%. And I like when I see the posts that say something along the lines of, you know, the person that you're meant to be with is the person that's going to bring out the best version of you. And it's not necessarily that the person brings out the best version of you, it's that they allow you to bring out the best version of yourself, you know. And I just think that that's amazing when you find somebody that, you know, really is just your biggest, I guess, cheerleader or fan that's like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, go do that. Oh my gosh, you can definitely do that. And they're doing the same thing with themselves. And so 100%, I love that. Yeah.
I see you don't want to talk about relationships much more. That's fine. We can move on. I am your guest today.
No, you know, it's something that can always be talked about. Like I said, I think, you know, for me, it's just the biggest thing is being able to take accountability, responsibility for your part in it. Again,
Yeah.
you're never going to make the other person perfect. You're never going to find a perfect person. So it's really about making yourself the best version of yourself, because if both people are doing that, then you know, that's a partnership that is going to go places. And I think that's important, and people are on a similar page. And so much as, like you mentioned, you can't a person can't expect their partner to, you know, be this uber successful, you know, driving Lamborghinis and all this stuff, but you're down here, you know, not working on yourself. You know, maybe you're working a minimum wage job or a job that you hate, but you just go to it every day because it's there, you know. And like you said, you come home, you take care of the kids, or you sit on the couch and whatever, but you're not working towards bigger things for yourself. You can't expect, that's a big mismatch. People have to be somewhat aligned with what their visions and what their goals are.
Yeah, for sure. And people need to get unstuck. You know, I have been stuck with money. People think money solves everything. I'm not talking about like hundreds, thousands, millions or anything, but I've been stuck in a pretty good place with money, realizing that there was more for me to do. Like just going out to eat to restaurants and traveling and buying what I want and going to the store. Like that was it was such an amazing, fun feeling when I actually got to that level where I didn't have to think about anything, when I could go to the grocery store and I didn't have to count my bank these small experiences where I used to have to really look, like, let's be real, like really, really look, were pretty amazing and fulfilling. And then I've been stuck when I was broke with my mindset, broke financially, broken relationships following me all around. And then that mindset was attracting them. Like, everybody I was around was in some kind of broke something, hurt something. And I'm not saying discard all your friends and it's all bliss. Let me be clear about this. But we attract how we feel. So one way I moved myself into leveling up is simply like, you started with this, and I'm circling back on purpose, closing my eyes and feeling what I think that feels like. That joy, happiness, that fulfillment, that personal reward, that honor. And not for anyone else but myself, and honor to God and who I'm created to be. That was a place of an entire decision, because I did not and do not and will not leave this earth without attempting all that I can feel and see that I'm meant to do. It just can't happen. I feel this silent urge, like, just do it. And the biggest thing I really tell people is proceed. Just proceed. Flip a magazine, call a friend, look at something cool on YouTube, proceed one action, one thought, one word at a time.
And exactly, and deliberate. You mentioned this, I think, on your podcast last week, taking deliberate action. And I think that's the thing, is looking at how you spend your time and looking at that as to, what am I doing with my time? And you can level up how you use your time as well. So if you are sitting on the couch watching Netflix, but it's not deliberate. So Danya and I both watched a documentary on Madam CJ Walker, and that was deliberate, right? That was about learning about the first female that got millionaire status on her own, having her own business. And so that was deliberate, you know, and I'm not saying, again, you can't just sometimes just sit down. Like, I love to just watch some comedy, and Dave Chappelle is my favorite. So, you know, there's a time and a place for that, but how you spend your time is deliberate. You know, if you're sitting there just scrolling through mindlessly on social media, that's not doing anything. If you're purposefully, deliberately interacting with people and thinking about what you're going to post and what is that going to do for people, then that's, you know, that's having a deliberate action in that.
Yeah, being intentional and deliberate is very important, very key word. And I also read something recently about scrolling. So did I talk to you about this?
No.
Like, it's literally a mind drug. You guys can look this up. I don't know what article it was, but the guy who created it, from the source that I read or saw or video or whatever it was, regrets creating the scrolling method, the one that we do on Facebook and Instagram now. And it was stated, and these are not my words, but stated that he regrets it because it's an absolute drug. So it messes with your mind. It causes an addiction, just like any real tangible drug would. And so I was watching the brown lady who created the Honest products, not the Jessica Alba ones, the Honest products that are in Target. What are they called? Oh, I don't know the name, I should know. But anyway, she created these natural, like, tampons and feminine products, and she got really ridiculed for some commercials and things she did on Target. And she's one of the first brown women to actually be in Target. So I was on a Zoom with her and like in a team that brought her on, and she is bold, she is flagrant, she is fearless, she does not care, she is iced. Oh, she was speaking so free. Ice did not care. And one of the things she said is, no, we're on a social media platform, is be full of care of what you're doing on social media platforms, because all of that information, and we know this, that you see and receive is getting stuck somewhere in your subconscious mind. All of it, just what you see. And so I'm telling people right now, I don't care how old or young your kids are, if they're at the dinner table with you and they're teenagers or the young adults up, we're not doing phones at the table. We gotta put those away. Scrolling on around all day while the family's in the house and everybody's on their phone, and I'm talking to adults too, not okay. What are you scrolling? Huge part of leveling up: engagement. Feel people. Now that might be a little more challenging right now, and it might be a little more challenging even if you're at a family event, because you might be 6 feet away or even 2 feet. I don't know. But the scrolling can be a drug. Be full of care that, like you said, social media, television, all that. Be disciplined, be diligent, be intentional, and really get yourself around people where you can feel that authentic energy whenever possible. It is irreplaceable, and it is a God-given gift.
That's amazing. That's so interesting to hear. And as somebody who lost a family member to addiction, that's eye-opening. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, well, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, but you know, thank you for everyone who jumped on. I really appreciate it. As I mentioned, Danya's calling. Danya's passion. No, we aren't calling it passion. I remember what Danya is doing is helping people find what it is that they're meant to do. And that's such a powerful, she has 4 specific programs, and they're so powerful. If you want more information, you can comment in the comments on this video. You can get in touch with me and I will put you into touch with Danya. I'm working with her on that project. My goal is to help people on the other side of leveling up. I really want people to level up more in their lives, as far as have more fun, enjoy your life, because life is too short, which makes me always want to go into a Too Short song, but I won't do that. But I want people to start taking advantage of the time to enjoy their lives, because so many people, for example, have a job where they have vacation time and they don't use their vacation time. People who have, you know, maybe the money to go do fun things, but they don't have the time, or opposite, they have the time, but they don't have the money. And my goal is to help people get that side aligned with everything. So, you know, you've got 2 powerhouses on here that are all about helping people level up.
Yeah, and your thinking on multiple streams of income, your travel business, you doing what you talk to people about, how you're coaching and teaching and talking at your day work and what you're seeing and experiencing, your expertise in career consulting, all of that, you are actually doing these things. You are traveling, you are assisting people and dreaming of traveling and making that real with your business. That is so amazing. You actually do travel, so you're not just talking.
Yes.
You actually get on planes and travel. You were out here at the beach and doing all that good stuff. And so I just want to applaud you for actually your zucchini bread, making new things, first time success. These things might sound simple to people, but they're just little things to enjoy this life, as you just stated. And when you talk about multiple streams of income, you're so super passionate about it. When you talk about your daughter and her future, her accomplishments with her car, you and how you feel as a mom, those things are so, so important. And so I appreciate our conversations. I appreciate working with you on my projects and you doing these Woke Wednesdays to really empower people to, be what they're meant to be, do what they're meant to be, and be an example of that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Danya, so much for jumping on with me again today. We have not been jumping on together for several weeks, and I call last week we were talking and I was like, I miss this. We need this with each other because it's like we light each other's brains up. So thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you everybody for watching, and see you next week. Bye, guys. And